Whenever I bring it up, she suggests I am being too full on, needy, and adding stress to the relationship. Whew, that's not a very nice way to communicate, is it? Fucking hell. The gentleman asks, Mike, I'm loving the Better Partner Project. That's my 4-week course for men. However, I'm finding it hard to get my partner to open up to being part of it and listening to how I feel about our relationship. That sucks. That's a challenge. We can explore it though. Whenever I bring it up, she suggests I am being too full on, needy, and adding stress to the relationship. Whew, that's not a very nice way to communicate, is it? Fucking hell. Okay, so before we get in and say she's being a fuckhead, we might need to explore. She's got some trauma and some shit that she wants to pull away from. When someone steps towards her, she's an avoidant. She wants to step away from it because she automatically thinks people coming to connection are needy. Maybe. Any ideas would be great. We've been together for 10 months. I'm really into her, but she has some hang-ups. No shit. We all do, but no shit based on what she's said. And that includes a lack of willingness to talk about stuff. Yeah. Clearly. I am expected to listen to her shit, but she isn't keen to listen to mine. Whew. So already what we can see in this relationship is hierarchy. And he is trying to get to the same page, and he's going to feel really disrespected and a lot of unfairness when I have to listen to your shit, but you won't listen to mine, right? And that's often going to happen for men. The other way around, it can certainly happen, of course, but what tends to happen is women will feel hurt, men will feel disrespected. So this is, what I see playing out here. So it also feels like he's an anxious attachment and she's an avoidant. So he goes towards her, she moves away, he makes it about him and his worthiness. She makes it about him and his neediness. And at the base of it, she's being very, very unfair. You listen to my shit, but when you do it, no way, you're too full on, you're too much, you're too needy, you add stress to the relationship. Of course, for him, that's adding more stress because he wants to talk. He wants someone who can listen to him. And so this is what I often see in this kind of situation is you have two people trying to be heard, but no one's willing to hear the other. And so it's just two people talking at each other and never connecting. So there's a few things I think going on here, but the important thing for him is to first establish when that happens, how he feels, right? So when this happens, how do you feel? And then communicate on that level. If you come in and say, I have to listen to your shit, but then when I want to speak, you don't want to listen to mine, that's not fair, probably not going to work because she's someone who's just going to say, you're adding stress, you're too needy. Whereas you can come in and say, when I want to talk to you about our relationship and you label as me as being too needy or too full on, I feel fill in the blank. What I would like to be able to do is for us to communicate as teammates to explore our relationship, how we can work on it, what can work more effectively, and so we can actually, build and grow, etc., etc. Are you willing to do that? And if it's a no, then you need to explore what you're willing to accept. If there's someone here who is not willing to come to you, then you don't have to label them as a piece of shit, which I kind of did before, because there's a good chance that she's got a bunch of trauma in her life that doesn't allow her, which is to say she doesn't, as a result of that, she doesn't allow herself to get too close to someone because she's terrified that people will leave and abandon her, and so she ends up pushing people away before they can get too close, right? So you're coming in to say, hey, I'd like to talk about this, and she says, too needy, fuck that, because it's a very vulnerable place for her to let someone in truly. Now this is happening all the time in lots of different dynamics. So there's a point at which you can see with compassion what's going on for her, but then you have to also be able to draw a line and say enough is enough. This is what I'm willing to accept and this is what I am not willing to accept. And so when it comes to having these kind of conversations, I've said this kind of thing plenty of times before, you have to be willing to hear what you don't want to hear or not hear what you do want to hear. And if at a point you have a no longer, then you have to be willing to enact a consequence. And sometimes that consequence might be a really fucking hard one, which is I'm leaving. If you're not choosing me, I choose to not choose you. I choose to choose myself and explore someone who is willing to choose me back. See how you go. Hope that helps. You've got your own question, drop them in here at all times. Gentlemen, ask me your questions. They can be absolutely confidential in terms of your identity. They can be anonymous. If you've got questions about your relationship, if you've got questions about your life, if you've got questions, gentlemen, about getting your shit together, understanding yourself, getting out of the place of feeling stuck, then ask. Solutions, answers, support are here. Make it precise, but make it specific.